some people are afraid to win. Some people are afraid to lose. I was probably the latter of that. I was afraid I was going to lose, and it made me play harder and made my desire to win even greater.
Golfer Arnold Palmer was one of the most celebrated and charismatic athletes of the 20th century. Nicknamed the King for his domination of the sport in the late 1950s and early 1960s,
Into the hole.
he won 95 professional golf tournaments,
And won the 1969.
launched a prosperous golf course design company, and created cable television's Golf Channel. Late in life, he found a new popularity when he devised a drink combination, lemonade and iced tea, the Arnold Palmer. We sat down with him in December 2011 at a golf shop in Manhattan to talk about his legacy. You're credited with making golf popular in a new and different way. It was the TV era of golf was just beginning. Did you sense that you were doing that for the game? Did you know, okay, I'm not just winning, I'm advancing the game?
Well, you know, enough people recognized that that was happening. The golf on television was coming on. President Eisenhower was an avid golfer, and we became close friends, and we played a lot of golf, and we were both on television a lot, and that got people's attention. And I think that whether it was a fact or just a good circumstance, it worked, and his golf and my success kind of went hand in hand at the time for improving and making people more aware of the game.
Arnold Daniel Palmer was born on September 10, 1929. Raised in western Pennsylvania in the small blue-collar town of Latrobe, Arnold's roots in golf were working class. He learned the game from his father, who was the groundskeeper and later the head professional at the Latrobe Country Club. For every hour Arnold played golf, there were several hours of labor. His first job was cleaning and repairing clubs for the Latrobe members.
I worked in the steel mill. My father was a golf professional, but he also worked in the steel mill, and I think they tied together, and it made people aware that it wasn't just people that worked in a office building and made lots of money that golf was for them. It was for everyone, and of course that caught on very rapidly.
After high school, Arnold enrolled at Wake Forest University on a golf scholarship. But in his senior year, he withdrew from the school before graduating after the unexpected death of his roommate.
When my roommate got killed in an automobile accident, that was a shock to me personally, and I had to make some decisions in my life. And of course, then I signed up for the Coast Guard. And looking back now, that was probably one of the best things I ever did. It gave me a chance to grow up. And then I went back to Wake Forest, and that was a help too, to finish that senior year. And I was still looking. I was trying to satisfy that driving desire to go play professional golf. And of course, when I won the amateur, that was the ticket that I was looking for, and that gave me the confidence that I needed, that I was ready to go play professional golf.
The 1954 United States amateur victory led to a series of professional wins, and by 1958 he won the Masters, the first of his 7 major championship titles. But it was the way Palmer won, with a swashbuckling style that energized golf and drew millions of new fans to the game.
35 feet away, up it goes. Into the cup.
His supporters, called Arnie's Army, were enthusiastic and sometimes boisterous. Along the way, he developed fierce rivalries that add to the television drama, most famously with Jack Nicklaus.
He was so good, and of course he took my measured times, and I got his a few, and people liked that. They liked what was happening, and then you could put Gary Player in the argument too, and there was a competition there that was a very heavy competition, even though we were all good friends.
Behind Palmer's public risk-taking personality was a desire for perfection. He spent countless hours tinkering with his clubs. Your collection is bigger, 10,000 strong, than maybe any other person on earth. Is that in search of the perfect club? Is that really what this is all about?
Well, I always felt, and that's good that you said it the way you did, because I always felt that if I had the club that absolutely was perfect and looking down at it, that I should play perfect golf, and that was my goal.
Have you found that club?
Come close, but there's still that. There was a time when that little perfect was not quite there, but the good news is that I was reasonably successful with it.
But speaking of perfect, you recently had another hole-in-one.
I did, and that was fun too. And you know, hole-in-ones come when you least expect them. I've had some experience with hole-in-ones. I've had 20, and one time I played at Avenel in Washington, D.C. in a tournament, and on the third hole I made a hole-in-one. I hit a 5-iron, and it worked out very well. And the next day I came to the same hole, and NBC had heard about my hole-in-one, and they sent a camera crew out, and I saw them, and I knew them. And I asked them what they were doing there, and they said, "You made a hole-in-one here yesterday." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "We came to film the one you're going to make today." Well, now, you think that was laughable. It was ridiculous. I took the 5-iron, hit the same shot, the ball did the same thing, rolled up and went in the hole. 2 days in a row. That's how unusual hole-in-ones are. And of course, the one I made the other day, a 5-iron, hit short of the hole and rolled up and went in. It's not ever expected, but it's great when it happens.
Now, when you've been playing golf as long as you have, and the contributions you've made to the game, people talk about legacies for the game. Do you think your style would be your most lasting legacy?
I always felt like, well, you have to develop your own style, and you can't take it away, and you can't give it. It's something that's there, and that's what I've worked on and worked all my life. And to whatever success I've had, I contributed to the fact that I developed my own style.
And when you say style, you mean it comes down to everything. How you walk out there, everything, right?
How you look, how you think, everything you do is some way connected to that style. The way you shine your shoes.
The way you shine your shoes. And you thought of all those things? I mean, what was the best way to describe your style?
Well, of course, to start with, I watched the great players, and for whatever the reason, I noticed that they had certain things that they did, each one of them, and they were all different. Whoever it was, Hogan, Snead, they had a style. And you could, if I were standing 100 yards away from a player, almost any players of those days, I didn't need to see their face. I knew who they were by just looking at them, swinging a golf club.
True for you too, though.
That's right, and people knew me.